Hey everyone, welcome back to Global Blue Nosers, the podcast about everyday people around the world whose lives have been shaped by the province of Nova Scotia. Global Blue Nosers is brought to you by Halifax Stanfield, Atlantic Canada's airport hub working to accelerate the growth of our communities by connecting people and goods to the world. Today, we're taking a trip up to Ontario and into the Niagara region, which is a part of Ontario that I actually know quite well and has played a big part in my own Global Blue Nosers journey. Born and raised in Lake Echo, Taylor Judson now lives in Pelham, Ontario, and works in the Niagara region as a social media coordinator. For Taylor, leaving Nova Scotia was a big change. From experiencing life without an ocean, having no fresh seafood nearby, and realizing you maybe have a little bit of an accent. Now, having lived in Ontario for as long as in Nova Scotia, she has hit a new meaningful milestone, and one that comes with a new kind of homesick. But no matter how long she's away, the perfect day still looks like a drive from Halifax to Inverness and Cape Breton, coffee in hand, ocean views stretching for miles, and that unmistakable East Coast feeling that never fades. So something that never gets old for me is finding the many unexpected connections we can have as Nova Scotians. And for those of us who leave, the ways our stories cross over can be really fascinating. You'll hear early in our chat that Taylor and I both graduated from Niagara College in Welland, Ontario. I went there after my degree in Acadia and honestly never meet East Coasters who have been there. Being from Nova Scotia really made me stand out at Niagara College, so it's so interesting to meet another Nova Scotian who actually went there, even if it was 10 years apart that we attended. Taylor's story is also a little bit different from many of our other guests who have left Nova Scotia as adults. Starting her expat journey as a teenager has come with unique challenges and benefits, and I found it really interesting to hear her story. We even have a guest appearance from her cat, which as a cat person who has my cat sitting on my lap right now, I loved. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Taylor, thanks so much for joining the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sean. I'm excited.
I'm excited too, because this is actually a bit of a first for me, because I've talked to lots of people that have gone to, because I did, 2 rounds of university, one university and then one college. So I've talked to lots of people that went to Acadia. I've never talked to somebody else that actually went to Niagara College, which is the other side of things for me. So this is actually exciting to bring that side of things into it. So I'm just excited from that side of things.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool when I was creeping your LinkedIn originally. I saw Niagara College and I was like, no way. And I just instinctively, I was like, I wonder if he did PR. I instinctively thought that. And there you go.
It's like PR people are drawn to each other. It's such a weird little community. Like I never would come across Niagara College grads, especially in the PR program, and except for when I was living in Ontario. So it was really cool to see that, and then like all the interconnection with Nova Scotia. So I mean, it's how things go. You have to have multiple connections. But you went to Niagara College much longer after me. You're much younger, because you were, what year did you graduate?
I graduated, well, the first time. I also, like you, I did 2 rounds of college. So I graduated the first time in 2018, still from Niagara College. I did radio broadcasting, and then I went back for PR, and that was, oh my gosh, 2023, I think.
Oh my
2022, God. 2023.
So
not
young.
that long ago.
Still so young. I graduated the PR program in 2008. So yeah, the fact that you did so you did both sides of the coin. It was kind of funny when I was going through PR, that all the broadcast people and journalism kind of saw us as the evil side in PR. And I don't know if that's still the like dynamic between broadcasting and PR, but like you did both sides.
Yeah, it's a little bit different now, because there was actually a lot of people who were in my broadcasting year ended up doing PR, and people I knew from journalism. Yeah, they all kind of ended up doing it eventually. None of us did it at the exact same time, it seemed, but it was, there was like a little vibe, especially I was in the radio side. So we didn't hate PR or anything like that, but it was just like, oh, you gave in. Like, you let the dark side win. You left radio. What are you doing?
Yeah, that was very much the dynamic back in my day too. So, yeah, and only slightly intimidating for me to invite a radio broadcast grad onto a audio podcast. Not at all intimidating as somebody that did PR with no training in how to do a podcast or anything audio, but we're fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's great.
It's great. Yeah, so we have the Niagara College connection, but obviously Nova Scotia is the reason that we're on this podcast today. So to give everybody the context, how about you kind of walk us through a little bit of, your background, your history, and sort of your connection to Nova Scotia leading up to where you are now today?
Yeah, so I was born in Halifax and I grew up in Lake Echo. So for those who don't know, it's kind of surrounded by East Preston, North Preston, Mineville, Porters Lake. I always tell people it's just outside Cole Harbour, kind of, because people understand Sidney Crosby. They get Cole Harbour.
Yeah, he really put Cole Harbour on the map. That was good for him on that one.
Yeah, and like Cole Harbour was our local library. That's where that was. I remember going to the swimming pool there, like the Cole Harbour Center. But growing up in Lake Echo, like super small town. I grew up there my whole childhood. We never moved until I was about 50. I was just about to start high school, and we moved to Ontario because my dad got a job here, and it was a big change. And here I am. Like, I went to college here. I ended up meeting my husband, and my parents are still here, so I've stayed for now.
So, that is a big shift. So, for me, I grew up small town Nova Scotia as well. And I remember the first time, and interestingly, it is funny because like my wife is also from the Niagara region where you are. It's when first time I went to St. Catharines, it felt like such a huge city. Like it,
Right?
and now I look at it after living in like Calgary and up around Toronto and traveling. It's like, St. Catharines is a nice little city, but it felt huge for me at the time. So what's it like to go from a place like Lake Echo to moving, especially at that age, to a place like Ontario?
Oh, it was wild. And like you said, it just felt so big because we moved to, anyone who some people might be familiar, we moved to Beamsville in Ontario. So it's part of the Niagara region. It's very close to St. Catharines, and it's considered a small town. And we weren't like, our new house wasn't very far off the highway. So we got off the highway and immediately Tim Hortons, McDonald's. I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, we moved to the big city, because we had to drive like 20 minutes to get to a Tim Hortons. So I'm like, are you kidding? I could walk to Tim Hortons. We moved to a big city, and going from somewhere where as an adult, this probably makes way more of a difference. But if you forgot something at the grocery store, you got to go without, because are you really going to drive another 20 minutes into Cole Harbour to go to the grocery store? Probably not. And then our new place, we lived 5 minutes from a Sobeys. And yeah. I was like, this is so big. And everyone kept saying, it's such a small town. It's such a small town. Oh, there's nothing to do here. Such a small town. And I thought, no, not a small town. A small town is where you actually know everybody. I was like, I used to work at the local Tim Hortons, and I was like, I hardly have any regulars. I don't recognize the same people over and over again. It's just so big.
Well, yeah, small town is, everybody's business. And in Beamsville, knowing that you don't know everybody's business, that whole corridor there, you go from St. Catharines up to Hamilton. Yeah, there's the, Grimsby and things like that, smaller places, but like those are big spots. So, for you going into like school and everything like that, what was that adjustment like for you? Was it pretty quick, or was it difficult to make that transition? Because I talked to a lot of people that left Nova Scotia as adults, but to leave as a teenager, that's a totally different dynamic.
Yeah, it was difficult. I think because a lot of people also didn't really know much about Nova Scotia unless they had family there or something. A lot of people just didn't know. So I got the jokes of, did you like grow up on a fishing boat? Did you have cell phones out there? Did you have like all these things that people just didn't really get? And actually the biggest adjustment, I guess, I was in French immersion in Nova Scotia, and they didn't have a close enough French school.
Mm.
So I went immediately into English. So that was then a big kind of little switch. And then also, I think it has since changed. But my cat is trying to say hi.
I'm leaving the cat in the podcast, just so you know, because we in our intro chat we talked about that we're both cat people, so the cat gets to stay in the podcast.
Yeah, she is definitely trying to make it all about her. But yeah, I think it has since changed out east. But there used to be that the school cutoff dates were, I believe, I was born in 96. So from January to August of 96, went to school, and the other 96s, the September to December, went to school the following year with the 97 January to August. It was a weird cutoff date.
Mm-hmm.
So when I moved here in Ontario, it was just January to December. It was just the whole year went through. So I was a year older than everyone.
Oh,
and they couldn't really, they were like, that's so weird. Did you fail a grade? Like what? They didn't really understand. And I was like, no, I'm in the right grade. I didn't start school until I was almost 6, and they start school here when they're 4. They just couldn't get it.
Yeah, that has changed, because like it's now my daughter goes to school with like the kids that were all that same calendar year, like January to December, but it was the same for me. I mean, growing up, that weird cutoff is like you went up to when school started, you got to start, and then if you were born after then, you didn't go. So that would be a really big difference comparatively. Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where you're already the new kid about to start high school. Like it's already such a weird time. And then to throw in like, oh, did you fail a grade? Are you stupid? Like why are you older?
Kids are so great that way, aren't they? They're so supportive and welcoming.
Yeah. But I made some good friends who I'm still friends with to this day. So it wasn't all bad.
That's good. When you were living in like Lake Echo, were you in like a neighborhood? Could you see other houses, or did you have space? Because I know for me, it was the lack of, when I left small town Nova Scotia and started living elsewhere, it was the loss of space that really got me. So like when I was in neighborhoods and things like that, it really blew my mind that I was like right on top of other people. It was like their house was like right there.
Yeah, actually, that was a big change because we did have neighbors and stuff. There was a block of us, but we had big yards, and there was like trees surrounding like 3 sides of each yard. So it was definitely very rural. Yeah. And when we moved here, my parents moved to, they bought a house in a subdivision. And to me, it reminded me of my grandparents' place in Dartmouth. And I was like, oh, and Dartmouth's a big city. So I was like, here we go. We moved to a big city. We've got this tiny little yard, and the neighbors are right there. It felt really close. So then when I moved out, my husband and I bought in Pelham. So that's where we live now. And we have about an acre. So we still have neighbors, but it's back to more that kind of space, big yards, and kind of how we like it.
Well, yeah, because it was one of the things that I know my wife really noticed when we moved out here and started looking around is like she would look at like subdivisions in some of the places in Nova Scotia, and like, you know, the lots were like half an acre to an acre. Like that was what you could have in like a bit of a neighborhood area around Nova Scotia. And for her, those were huge properties. And for me, I was like, oh yeah, that's what you build on, right? So yeah. It's smart to have gone that route, because you're kind of like hitting the best of both worlds to be Southern Ontario, but you got the space.
Yeah, because it already feels it's a very populated area, as I'm sure like you experienced. It's a lot. And so having just a little bit of space is nice.
Every time we go back to like visit family in Niagara, it's the drive on the highway. Like if I getting on like the QEW, and I'm just like, this is not how people should drive. It's unbelievably busy. There's just, I'm still overwhelmed, even though I lived in cities for, well over a decade after I left. I'm still overwhelmed by the QEW and like the 401 or the 403. Like it's still too much for me.
Oh yeah, I especially after COVID, because we were just like
Mm,
trapped inside for so long, I've lost all my confidence driving in Toronto or driving on the QEW. It's terrifying. And my husband will say I drive like a grandma. I'm like, no, no, I drive safely.
you,
I drive nicely.
you drive like a Nova Scotian, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
And you can always tell when like especially in the summertime, like tourist time, and you see the Nova Scotia license plates and they are just they're in the slow lane and they are just look, you can tell just by the way the car is driving, they're terrified.
Yeah. The
So much.
like it's like dinner plate eyes, just huge eyes looking. It's like, where do I go? What do I do now? That,
It's so overwhelming. It's a
yeah.
lot.
And it's gotten that whole area. I mean, just like everywhere. I mean, Nova Scotia is the same thing in terms of how much it's grown, but like that whole corridor where you are has grown so much. So there's even more people, even more cars, and the roads haven't changed. So it's still overwhelming for me.
Yeah, and I know like my husband would say that even because he grew up in Beamsville as well. That's how we met. And he would say that even that town has gotten so much bigger. So it's so like it's way more a city now, what he would consider a city, than when he was a kid. And to me, I'm like, it's always been a city. When he saw where I used to live, he was like, oh, I get it. Like, this is what
Yeah.
I wish Beamsville had been.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I can relate to so much of that. But, for you, leaving at the age that you did, for you, Nova Scotia still home, still feels like home in your life?
It does. It really does. And I think I've noticed that more as an adult. Obviously, when I first moved, it's you're not just the new kid, you're the new kid from far away and you talk really fast and, the year older and everything. But now, especially as an adult, I've noticed that, I still, people are like, oh, you have an accent kind of, which never thought I did, especially going through radio broadcasting. They really try and train that speed out of you and the accent gets highlighted. But the more I have grown up and stuff, I realize, oh yeah, like it's still like, it's just Nova Scotia people are different sometimes. Just in like, I've just noticed it as I've met people who happen to be from there, and it just feels like home when you're talking to them.
Yeah.
And I think
it's so true. It's like you go into like a little bubble where you're kind of home when you're talking to the person. It's very different.
Yeah. And especially being able to go back after COVID when we weren't able to travel, I was like, I missed this. I missed this so much. And it's weird because I'm coming up on now this year I've lived in Ontario as long or longer, 1 year longer than I lived in Nova Scotia.
Wow.
Which kind of seems weird. Even this past year when it's like, oh, I've officially lived in both places as long, like equal amount of time. It was weird. It felt weird. It was definitely a big shift because then I had a identity crisis kind of thing of, oh, well, can I still say I'm Nova Scotian if I've lived in Ontario just as long now?
I will say from talking to people that have lived away from Nova Scotia for 30 years who still refer to it as home, it's like it's always sort of core to the identity. It doesn't matter how long you're away, which I think is one of the reasons I started the podcast, was me trying to discover like, why is that like that for us? But yeah, that's a weird milestone to hit. So like, it's almost like you're going through a midlife crisis, but not midlife. It's like, it's a weird thing to be going through that. Cause whenever people hit those milestones, for me, it was when I hit 10 years away. I was like, oh my God, I was only supposed to be gone for a couple of years. And then suddenly it's 10 years. Those are weird moments.
Yeah. And it's definitely made me want to like go back. I'm like, we got to go back. We got to go back. We got to go on vacation there more. We got to make more trips. So there might be a Halifax trip in the summer in store.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend the summer as I look out at the amount of snow we have right now. So definitely plan for summer.
Yes.
Before we do the 24 hours thing, I did want to hit on one thing because I know we talked about this a little bit before we ever recorded. And I did find it interesting that, for you going through radio broadcasting and everything like that, it's interesting as Nova Scotians because we do talk in interesting ways. Like we talk fast, we've got the accent, we say certain words differently. So what was it like for you, going into radio and going through that training in Niagara College where, again, for me, I always say a lot of the folks in Niagara have a bit of a watered down. It's like, it's very TV sounding in Southern Ontario. We don't sound like we're on TV as Nova Scotians. So what was that like for you to go through that process?
It was so strange because that was when I realized I had an accent. Because all in high school, people never really said anything. The odd time my best friend would say, like, you're talking really fast. Like, you just need to slow down, not realizing it was a regional thing. So when I got to broadcasting school and especially radio, because it's just all about talking, they would have you read these scripts and say, okay, you got to try and read this in a minute, let's say. And I would blow through it in 40 seconds. And they were like, okay, no, we can't understand what you're saying. And I thought, well, yeah, you can. This is how I talk and it's fine. And they're like, no, it's just a lot. And then certain words too. If I was talking about doing a weather forecast, I was no longer allowed to say that it's worm out because they thought I was saying worm, like a worm in the ground. And people still can't understand some of those AR words. Yeah. And so there was just certain words that my teacher was like, you know what, we're just going to come up with a different word. Let's say it's nice out, let's say an SUV instead of a car. Let's say, let's just kind of change some of that. And that was my first experience of, do I really sound that different? Because no one has come up to me and straight up said, oh, you have such a thick accent or anything. And I have family members from Newfoundland. And to me, I was like, that's a way thicker accent. To me, that's way more noticeable. But no, they trained it out of me. Yeah. Not the pronunciation, that they just replaced the words, but the speed, they were like, well, you have to practice and practice. Yeah. They get slower. But when you come out around Nova Scotians, the accent comes back thicker, the speed comes back. I think the speed was the thing I didn't realize I did until I met my wife, and she and I were talking. She really noticed the way I spoke, and I didn't notice it, but she really noticed it when I moved away. Once I would talk to someone from home, she's like, man, you just went to another level, started to talk fast again, started to say words in a different way. It's I would talk to my mom and she's like, that, I don't know what language is that you're talking right now. It's that I can't imagine trying to water it down. That must've been so difficult. It was really hard to get the speed thing down. Cause especially you slip right back into it immediately when you're not thinking about it. It was just one of those things where I really had to think about. And then I felt like I was talking strangely. I felt like it was weird. It's kind of like when you try and imitate another accent and you sound really weird. I was like, I just feel like I sound so strange. And people have tried, some of my friends have tried with some of the words that they think we pronounce differently. They're like, okay, say it like this. And then when I say it the way they say it, they're like, well, now it just sounds dumb. Now we sound dumb. That can't be the way it is.
It sounds better with a Nova Scotia accent. I'm sorry. Things like saying words like car and barn and all those things. It's that's how you need that little drawl on it. It's got to sound like that. Because it does sound very vanilla when you don't have the East Coast flair to it.
Yes, exactly. I'll tell them that. We need flair. Yeah. Let them know that Nova Scotians are saying that they are too vanilla. They need to get a little personality going. Yes. Make that a campaign for there in Southern Ontario, that they got to add a little something to it. Maybe don't go Buffalo, but go, get some personality. Yeah. That's funny.
Okay, well that's awesome. So now we know a little bit more about you and your journey, which is great. And now this is where we get into the really difficult part, and I'm curious to see which direction you go here. But if I could give you those magical 24 hours in Nova Scotia, but a hard 24, you come in and then you're out again, which is a terrible thought to only get 24 hours. I'm super curious to know, how are you going to fill that time to make the most of Nova Scotia?
Yeah, and this is the hardest question. Now, you said I could utilize teleportation, correct? Maybe.
I have said that people can utilize a little bit of magic in this if they want to throw some extra things into the day. So I'm gonna give you that, Taylor. I'm gonna let you use a bit of magic that's come along.
Yeah, because I know I told you this before, but I was born in Lake Echo and obviously grew up in Dartmouth, Halifax area. But my dad was born in Inverness, Cape Breton. So I've also spent a ton of time in Inverness, and it is so close to my heart. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, how do I do both? Now the drive is only about 4 hours, and it's beautiful. So maybe I could squeeze it in. But we'll maybe operate under. There's a little bit of teleportation.
Okay, we can do that today.
Yeah, so I think I would start like sunrise coffee at Lawrencetown Beach. That was the beach I grew up going to, and it is just gorgeous. Even when the last time we went out, it was pouring rain, and I went up on the boardwalk. I was like, I just got to see it, and then ran back into the car. So, yeah, I think I'd start there, just walk around Lawrencetown, and then make the drive into Dartmouth and get on the ferry. Instead of taking the bridge over, I might have a nice coffee on the Dartmouth ferry over to Halifax. And normally I would have stayed around for lunch because I don't know if you've ever been to John's Lunch.
No, I've not been.
Oh, it was so good. The best whole clams ever, like the best fried clams, which you cannot get in Ontario, which is a travesty, an absolute travesty. But that just came up in the episode we just released, was about fried clams. The guest lived in Toronto. He's like, I left and didn't realize that no one else did fried clams. No, like you don't think about that one. You think about the donairs and stuff, but no fried clams, which is awful. But you could get a whole huge thing of fried clams and fries. But they've recently closed, like within the last couple of years. It was heartbreaking. But so I would take the ferry over and go around like the Halifax waterfront. Actually, Split Crow is very good. So maybe pop up there for lunch, like right in like the downtown. And then if time permitting, I will do the drive to Inverness, 4 hours, but that might eat into a lot of time because in Inverness, oh my gosh, it's so nice. I'd want to spend 8 hours on the beach, looking for sea glass, swimming in the ocean, just amazing. And we used to stay at my great aunt's cottage or at Beach Village, which I believe you said you've been at before too.
Yep.
Even just staying there, and my aunt's cottage was on a little outside of Inverness. It was on Lake Ainsley. So if I could be there, like, have a nice quiet read there, and then make a short little drive up to Shetty Camp. There's another, I did write this one down because I always forget what it's called, but another great restaurant. Seafood Stop and Fish Market. So it's part restaurant, part fish market. So Nova Scotians know those are the best ones.
That's a good sign right there. Yeah. That's a good sign.
You can see the boats coming in, like while you're having your meal. So that's where I'd go for my fried clams. And then, I would just then go back, hang around Inverness. Hopefully it's a race day at the racetrack. So go watch some horse racing with my Uncle Joey and and just walk the streets and have a million people stop me, which would take up probably about 3 hours because they know my dad.
Of course.
But yeah, I think that's how. I think I have enough time in there to actually make the drive. It's a nice drive. We won't teleport.
You know what? If you can do the drive, because it is a gorgeous drive. Like, it is so nice, and there's so many nice little spots to stop along the way.
Some nice lookouts and.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I think it would be a day of a lot of beaching, like start and end at the beach. I'd also end like that sunset 24 hours on Inverness Beach again, but like sunset, sunrise with a beach and. Just everything that Inverness has to offer too. Just, like the races and everything is just so fun.
I'm glad you mentioned the sea glass too, because that was the thing that really blew me away when I first moved back. I had never really, like, growing up, never really spent any time in Cape Breton, except for driving through to go to the ferry, to go to Newfoundland and visit my mom's family. So we used to spend every summer when we first moved back up in Inverness, and could not get over just how much sea glass is on that beach, which, again, for such a gorgeous beach, it should be like absolutely jam-packed full, but it's always like you've got tons of space, you're relaxed, it's calm, like you're not like on top of everybody else. It's like, but the sea glass is what really blew me away. We had bags of it.
Yeah, every year we come home with so much. And I know the last time we went, we drove out, but then me and my husband flew back, and I left all my sea glass and stuff with my mom because she was going to be driving home again. And I thought, I have too much. I can't bring this on the plane. It's weighing down my carry-on.
Yeah. It's, and I mean, you could just it just keeps showing up every time we'd go. There'd be more and more of it. It's so nice. But the sunset in Inverness has to be, and I know lots of people will probably come on and say the sunset in their part of the province is the best. I have to, for me, the most beautiful sunsets I've seen have been in Inverness. They're gorgeous. Like
right up, like they've got a perfect spot, Beach Village, because like you're right up on, I encourage anyone to go there if you're going to Inverness, because it's right up on, like, you're overlooking the beach.
Yeah, you're up on the cliffs.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is so, so nice. So I do have to ask is, because, you and I share this, is that we married people from away. So we both from Ontario. I'm so curious, what was your husband's impression of Nova Scotia the first time? Because it's always interesting when you introduce a partner to Nova Scotia, because they're really seeing another part of you. So what was that like? How did he react to Nova Scotia?
He loved it. And it was so funny. Last year in the summer was the first time he's been out there ever. And which is criminal because we've been together for 10 years at that point. So it's just, which though COVID screwed up some travel plans, but yeah, he loved it. He had never seen an ocean before. And he had never got, when I tried to describe to him, like, there are things I love about Ontario and everything, but when you don't live near an ocean, it feels claustrophobic. And I have friends who lived on the coast in BC who say the same thing. When you aren't by an ocean, it's different. Mm-hmm. So his first time seeing an ocean and going in, and he couldn't believe the seafood either. He thought my family was just whining. He's like, we have good fish and chips here. We have seafood, and it's okay. Yeah, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's seafood, but it doesn't mean that it's the best. Like, it's when you're sitting and watching the boats come in, that's when you're getting the right stuff.
Yeah. And he very much enjoys small town. He's very old school, like that kind of vibe. So especially, we spent most of our time in Inverness, and being there where it's such a small town, or like every 5 seconds we're getting stopped because we're with my dad and having an hour conversation with his first grade teacher, or his buddies from college, or, whatever it may be. Or even like some like older people who knew my grandfather, who passed like 30 years ago, but still like they're introducing me as Charlie's granddaughter, and they know. And it's just such a truly, truly small town in the best way. Yeah. And so he loved it. He said he would move in a heartbeat if we weren't so like tied down with like family and jobs. It's kind of hard when like your whole family now lives in Ontario.
Oh, that's something that, so many people can understand exactly that statement of like, when you move, and especially when family moves with you, it's hard to then think about the return piece. But it must have been, for him growing up at a time when Beamsville was smaller, it must have been nice to kind of get that like breath of fresh air, to get back to like space and true small town, not like what has become like overcrowded small towns in so many other parts of the world.
Yeah. And I was saying to him, because with that new golf course opening up, I can't remember what it's called, but that one that's right there in Inverness.
Yeah, Cabot.
Cabot, yes. I said, it's a little bit busier now because they've got all the nice hotels and they've got the golf course, and it's a world-class golf course. So It's not as slow as it used to be. And he gets there because he knows tourist season in wine country and Niagara Falls and like, the way Southern Ontario is. And he was like, this does not feel, what do you mean tourists? He's like, I don't see any tourists. And it's like, well, they're all on the golf course, but it was still just so slow.
Yeah.
Like he loved it. He was, we'll probably retire on the East Coast if we don't get there sooner.
It's not a bad plan to have, that's for sure. Well, I mean, I love the 24 hours. I think it's great to bookend it with the ocean. I think that's a great way to do it. I like that it evolved into, like, let's do the drive. Let's add that in. I think that because it is one of those, that's part of the experience. And I do love it's, when you only have 24 hours in Nova Scotia, you think that you want to just jam it packed full, but sometimes it's just like experiencing it is all you're looking for. It's just like just breathing in the air, going to the places that seem familiar. That can be just as important as like checking off boxes on I have to hit all these spots to hit nostalgia.
Yeah. And I think that's how we did it. Like there was a part of me that wanted to show my husband all these things. And we did when we were in Dartmouth and everything, visiting my uncle, we drove down to Lake Echo so he could see where I used to live. And we drove around a bit. We had lunch and he didn't really get to see Halifax. He didn't see the city yet, but then we just kind of did all the things that we like to do in Inverness. And it was just slow. And it was, okay, race day is this day. We're going to go down to the workshop to get some oat cakes and just like sit and have coffee, but like with salt air and just go to the beach all day. And yeah, I think if I tried to jam pack all my favorite spots, I would get way too stressed out.
Yeah, 24 hours not enough then.
No, I would just bookend it with my favorite beaches. As long as I can start in Lawrencetown and end it in Inverness Beach, I think I'd be happy with some fried clams.
With some fried clams, yes. I am very happy that is now starting to get some attention on the show because it is fascinating to think about the things that we take for granted, like we don't realize we have here. But yeah, fried clams is starting to really get mentioned a lot by people because it really just doesn't exist outside of the region.
Or like, and if the closest you can ever find, it's like clam strips, but it is, and people think it's so. Like anyone from Nova Scotia who is missing it, who sees clam strips, no, don't bother. It'll just make you sad. It'll make you so sad.
Just make you more homesick. Yeah. No, I totally get that. Well, Taylor, this has been awesome. I really, really appreciate taking time to talk. It's awesome to talk to another Niagara College grad on the show. It's a first for me, so that's awesome. But really appreciated getting to know you a little bit more. Loved learning a bit more about your perfect 24 in Nova Scotia, and it's really great to see just how much the province still means to you.
Oh, for sure. I will sing its praises all day long, and I always try and send people there. But I warn them, you might not want to come back. It is so lovely.
And they might even pick up an accent while they're here. Who knows?
They might. If you get enough drinks, you might.
That is a very good caveat. A couple drinks and suddenly, you can talk like a Nova Scotian.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Taylor. It's been really, really nice talking to you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
The Global Blue Nosers podcast is hosted, edited, and produced by me, Sean Meister. Our podcast is made possible thanks to the generous support of Halifax Stanfield, and episodes drop every 2 weeks on Thursdays. All the music used on the show is by Lunenburg-based band Black Matilda. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate a 5-star review to help more people find the show. And make sure you also subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find Global Blue Nosers on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, so give us a follow. Thanks so much for listening, and I can't wait to welcome you back again soon.